Yeah, I got here tonight and I was parking and I was like, oh man, one thing about this pandemic I like, it is way easier to park at the mall. I've been performing in this club since it opened in 2016. This is the first time in all those years I've been able to park right in front of this club. Like usually I gotta fight the kind of people that think Weber Grill is fancy dining. It's like, can we keep this? Like, not the 200,000 dead people, but at least can we keep not having the people who like shitty restaurants coming out and getting in my way? No? Watched you guys come in. You were very pleasant people. You're all wearing a mask. I like that you're all masked up, every one of you, which is good considering statistically speaking, half of you are thinking, this is bullshit. It's good. You put it on, and I like that about you. A lot of people don't when they go places because, this is America, and they think the best way to defend freedom is to yell at a guy named Kevin who makes $10 an hour on Facebook Live. So you're the American heroes I need. That's cool. I was driving here today, and there's a billboard by my house where I get on the highway, and this billboard has a picture of a pregnant woman's belly on it. And you can see an x-ray of a fetus on it, and next to it is a quotation. Quote, it says, at 6 weeks, I could smile. That made me angry. Like, not politically, but definitely grammatically. Because if you don't know why, I'll explain to you. I have a master's in accounting. I can explain the English language. Typically speaking, in the English language, 2 quotation marks indicate that an expression between those quotation marks has been made by whomever is... Don't need to be on video correcting someone's grammar, making a grammar mistake. That expression has been expressed by whomever is pictured next to that quote. And to recap, that says at 6 weeks I could smile. That's a fetus. I don't think that's a legit, properly attributed quote myself. I don't think a 6-week-old fetus crawled out of its mother, found its way to a computer, got a credit card number off the dark web, and ordered a billboard in South St. Louis City. This is where I think America has hope. I think if there's a chance for Americans, I think we can all come together because I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat, a robot, whatever you are. If you're at home taking a shower one day, washing your dirty bits, taking a little extra time down there, you're in quarantine, why not? Soap it up, have a ball. You get out of the shower. You're toweling yourself dry, and you look in the doorway of your bathroom, and standing there is a 6-week-old fetus. And that fetus is like, hey man, I just stopped by to let you know, I can smile. Every one of us buys a shotgun at that moment. Chris Sear, 2024 for president, bringing America together. Oh man, this is fun. I gotta be careful when I drive. That billboard makes me mad. It's because, I get road rage when I drive, so I get objectively, irrationally insane about certain things. And I knew this, because I figured it out back in my drinking days. When I used to drink a lot, one night, I was driving from a bar, driving home, and I didn't say I'm a hero. I'm not telling you Uber. I'm driving home from a bar, and this dude cuts me off, right? Comes within an inch of my front bumper. Almost kills both of us, because he doesn't know the law in Missouri that says before you change lanes, you're legally required to look in the window of my car to make sure I've hit send on whatever text message I type. This idiot doesn't know the law, almost kills both of us. Luckily, you can't tell by looking at me. I have amazing reflexes. I am wonderful in bed. I slammed on my brakes. Slammed on the brakes so hard, my cell phone went down in the floorboard of the passenger side of my car. That's a $900 supercomputer. Worse, the Starbucks I was holding in my other hand landed on top of the cell phone. I'm still making payments on that coffee. So I got mad. I am staring at a sloppy mess about what represents maybe 1/10 of my annual income. And I yelled at the top of my lungs, "You fucking moron!" And I found out that if you yell something in your car, and the person you yelled it to is like, maybe only 10 feet away from you, they can perfectly hear what you yell, especially if your windows are down. I found this out because at the off-ramp, we were both getting off the highway, he was in front of me, we stopped, he yelled back, "Hey, did you just call me a moron?" I didn't want him to be wrong. So I said, "No, called you a fucking moron." I thought he'd be happy I corrected him. Because to me, this is a guy who missed 50% of the words I yelled at him. And I thought he'd want to get his hearing checked. He was not appreciative. He got out of his car. I'm an idiot, so I got out of my car. And for the next 15 minutes, we were just two old white dudes on a side of a road in South St. Louis grunting at each other. Each of us pretending we wanted to fight. Neither of us admitting we just wanted to go to Taco Bell. I'm like, dude, it is 2:30, they close at 3, wrap this up. There's a voice in the back of my head going, Crunchwrap Supreme. And I was like, shut up, voice, I'm trying to look cool. Finally, I realized it's not gonna happen. Thank Christ, we're not gonna fight. I walk back to my car, right as I'm about to get in, that dude yells at me again, "Hey man, loan me $2. Thank you, I also thought this was a very aggressive panhandle situation. Also, like I said, I have a business degree. I know that's not a loan. So I get the rest away in my car after telling him no, and he yells back, "Well then, suck my dick." Thank you again. I also thought that was more aggressive. But the answer was still no. Like, he should have been able to figure out, if I won't loan you $2, I'm not giving you a blowjob. I'm worth way more than that. My mom raised me right. I am a $5 blowjob guy. Plus, I used to be in sales. There's a trick, right? You're laughing like you sold a thing. Start high, finish low. So next time you pull this scam, you open with, "Hey man, suck my dick." And when I say no, come back with, "All right, just loan me $2. I'll give you that money. I will respect your game, feel like I got a bargain. Tell my dad about it at Christmas. I'll be like, "Dad, I thought I was gonna have to blow this guy." Talked him down to $2. How do you feel about that? My dad would love it too. He likes things like that. Not blowing dudes, but getting a bargain. But that's cool. Like, he knows the value of $1. He's a working dude, right? Like, I do this for a living. My dad, is a working man. He hung drywall for 30 years. For 30 years, he got up at 4 a.m., chugged a pot of coffee, got on the highway, cussed out anyone who would have the nerve to do anything he had just done a second ago before seeing him do it. It's where I get it from. He went to a job site. He hung drywall for 8 to 10 hours a day. The man hung drywall. Until I wrote this joke, I didn't know what he was hanging drywall on. Thought it was air. Like, he was just a drywall wizard, throwing it up everywhere. He heard this joke, he's like, "Chris, it's drywall, it goes on studs, you own a house, you should know this." I'm like, "Dad, I've never looked beneath the paint." That's cool. I'll give you another example of the difference between us, right? Like, my dad's a working dude, like I said. I've owned a house for 20 years. I bought a house in the 90s. It was not an accomplishment. They gave them away at gas stations if you bought 2 bags of chips. Any place you stopped, you bought 2 bags of wrap snacks, they gave you a free bungalow on the south side. I took advantage of that. I've owned that house for 20 years. I'm not that old. I've owned that house for 20 years. I've never once mowed my own lawn. I don't do it. I pay a guy $30 a week. He gets beer money. I don't sweat. Everyone wins. My dad found this out a couple years ago. And he's like, Chris, you let another man mow your lawn? Oh, that's so intimate. And I knew I was in trouble. Because my dad has never used the word intimate in a good way. And he's like, Chris, that's too personal. You can't let another man work on your house. Would you let another man have sex with your wife? And I said, Dad, if having sex with my wife was as much work as mowing a lawn, yes. And he looked shocked, he looked appalled, and I figured I should clarify, don't worry, I love her enough to pay more than $30 for that. It's good to be doing stand-up again in front of people. I missed it. I missed this. This is what I do for a living, right? One of the things I miss the most is leaving town, staying in hotels, being a complete animal with property someone else owns and I don't have to clean up. It's great. I have to be careful in hotels though, because since I stopped drinking a few years back, I drink coffee. I drink coffee like crazy. I drink coffee at all hours of the day. It doesn't matter what time it is. Doesn't matter where I am. And in a hotel, everything you do, every meal you eat is sitting on the edge of a bed, is watching porn, is just listening to the waterfall of the sink in the bathroom that you made so you could sleep to ignore the ice machine. Stuff like that. So one night after a long day, I'm sitting in the bed in my hotel room drinking iced coffee and I fell asleep. And I woke up and I had spilled the coffee. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, I can't leave that mess there. I have to clean this up. So I went to the bathroom and I got some towels. I started cleaning up and I learned hotel beds have a liner on them. They don't absorb liquids. So I took what was a small brown stain on a white sheet. I moved it in a concentric circle for 15, 20 minutes. And I made a very large brown stain on that white sheet. Didn't help at all. Towels were brown, sheet was brown. I was like, this isn't working. So I don't live here. I'll do what you're supposed to do. I pulled the sheet off the bed, I took the towels, I threw them in the corner, I went to my shows. I came back later. Bed was made, room was clean, thanks housekeeping. And I do what you're supposed to do when you get back to your hotel after a long day. We all do it. I turned the AC down to 36 degrees. I stripped off every article of clothing I was wearing. I walked to the window and opened the blinds. I made eye contact with the dude sitting in the parking lot. I showed him my giant penis. I know I said it's giant. I wrote the joke. What else would I say? Then I'm gonna do it. This thing I've always wanted to do. I saw it in a cartoon. It looks great. I'm gonna jump from the window to the bed. I'm gonna bounce up. The sheets are gonna wrap around me like a little burrito. I'll feel like I'm in the womb, like I'm safe. So, I calculate the arc, the zenith, the amount of force I need to lift off with. I make sure I'm not going to leave the Earth's atmosphere. All the math you need to know. I have student loans. And right as I'm about to jump from that window, I look onto that bed and I see in the middle of it a black latex glove. And I'm like, oh no. There's only one reason housekeeping would use latex gloves to change the sheets on the bed when there's a brown sheet in the corner. They think I pooped this bed. And that's a problem for a couple reasons. One, I'm staying at this hotel for 2 or 3 more days. I don't need to constantly be ducking housekeeping because I'm the bed shitter in 319. Number 2, little secret of comedy, sometimes clubs buy us hotel rooms for coming to their city. This was one of those cases. That room was paid for by the club I had just worked at. I didn't need the manager of that hotel calling that club and going, hey, that last guy. How funny was he? Was he like shit in your bed funny? Because that's what he did. I didn't know what to do. I knew I couldn't just call down to the front desk and be like, hi. Earlier today, somebody was like making my bed, they did a great job. I'm gonna need their home phone number. No, not for anything weird. Just need to let them know I've never shit the bed. They're gonna hang up on me. So I figured it out. I figured out the solution to my problem is to just keep telling this story, right? To crowds like you. Everywhere I go, I'll tell it all across the country. And then one day, someone sit in an audience, maybe one of you tonight, you'll have a friend who works in the service industry, who works at the Best Western in Denver, Colorado. The one by the airport, not the one by the medical center. And they'll tell you about the worst day of their life. Like, on the drive-in, someone called them a moron. Tried to fight them on the side of the road. They made it to work. Got there, they were gonna push through. They were gonna have a good day. They were gonna make it positive. And they were doing it. They were chugging along, had a good playlist, getting the rooms clean. Came to room 319. Shit everywhere. They don't know what happened. They talked to Jim, the guy who lives in the parking lot. He said some fat naked dude with a giant penis was just standing in the window, probably high on caffeine and mushrooms, doing helicopters. Then that dude disappeared out the window, and next thing you know, shit everywhere. You can take that person aside and say, oh no, you won't believe this. This is such a coincidence, my friend. This is amazing. I saw the guy that was staying in that room, and you would not believe the incredibly long, elaborate story he made up to hide the fact he shit a bed. I feel like that was a mean thing to do to you, but you'll help me out. I do love stand-up. Like, this is what I do. It's great. You guys, like, you're a fun audience. After the show, I'm not selling anything, so I don't have anything for you to buy, but if you want to find me online, you can look me up on social media. Unless, like, your favorite thing is I don't talk about politics, then don't look me up on social media. But if you do, all I ask is that you be careful. Be careful, because there is another comic named Chris Sear. There's a stand-up comic in Connecticut named Chris Sear, but it's easy to tell us apart. And there's no like good way to say this in 2020, so I'm just gonna come out with it. I'm the white Chris Sear. He's the black Chris Sear. And that's normally not important, right? Normally that doesn't matter. But I'm telling you because like back in my drinking days, I used to like post on social media drunk, right? Like we all do it, we go crazy on social media. We wake up Sunday morning and we have to start deleting shit before anybody sees it. Like, that was oddly political, get rid of that. I used to do that all the time. Problem is, I didn't always look at the profile pic next to the post I was reading. So I would flip through and see what Chris Sear says, and I'd come across one of his posts thinking it's mine, and it'd say, I hate all these N-words in Connecticut. And I was confused. Because one, I've never been to Connecticut. And two, I don't know what I drank to make me that hostile towards black people. So when you look me up, be careful. At us both, at least. But just know I don't use that word. All right, you guys are great. Here's one quick joke you can use, and I'll get off the stage. A friend of mine will not use another person's cell phone. Won't do it. I asked why. He said, Chris, everybody in America takes their phone in the bathroom. They take it in the bathroom, they touch themselves, they touch their phone, they touch themselves, they touch their phone, they touch their face, they get their shit in their eyes or their nose and their face. And I said, oh, that makes sense. Like, that's gross. He's like, yeah, I don't want that stuff in my nose. I was like, I'm on your team here. And then my friend turned around and did a line of cocaine up the back of the public toilet. Which tells me my friend has no idea how most cocaine gets into this country. You guys are awesome. My name is Chris Sear. Have a nice night.